Hello, YouTube. We finally have a rainy day here in southwest Wisconsin, so I guess it's time for a Ford 2000 tractor project update. When we left off, I had just torn the engine down. This tractor had been sitting for a long time. When I drained the oil out of the engine, about 5 gallons of water came out along with the oil. So at that time, there was a lot of rust damage, and it just didn't look very good. So I had figured I was going to try and find a used engine to put in this tractor. And after looking around some, there seems to be less good used running engines around for these than I thought there might be. And the few that I did find, people wanted a pretty good price for. So then I decided to change course, and particularly since in the last installation here, I found out that this tractor does have the dual clutch, which means it has the live PTO, and that makes me pretty confident that this tractor will do what I want it to do. So I've decided I might as well just go ahead and build a fresh engine for it. I did a lot of engine building, a lot of engine work back in the 1980s and early 1990s, and I haven't forgot how. But the first thing I did find a good used block for this thing. These little Ford tractors, there's parts availability is really good for them. There's a lot of good used parts and a lot of new parts out there. So this is a good used block I found. It didn't need to be bored out. It cleaned up nice, honing it out. So I cleaned up with a hone. I've already installed new cam bearings in it. I have a cam bearing driver, and I've already washed it out really well. And just as an aside, on the subject of honing, a lot of people will look at this and refer to this as a hone, but this is really just a glaze breaker. This is for, as the name implies, taking the glaze off the cylinder walls and putting a fresh crosshatch on it. This is actually a hone. This is oh gosh, if I remember right, it's a Sonnen 110. I've had this forever. This is what you actually hone cylinders with. The stones are rigid and perpendicular. They're adjustable. You can adjust the amount of pressure you put on them. If your cylinder wall is tapered a little bit, this will take the taper out. Or if you need a little more, if you need to take a little material out, if your piston skirt clearance isn't quite enough, you can do your finishing hone with that. But anyway, that's just a point of information. I see a lot of people referring to using that in the cylinder as honing, but it's not really. But so I've got this, and I've also been collecting a bunch of other stuff. I've got the flywheel resurfaced. I've got a new clutch kit for it. The crankshaft that was in this engine was not, didn't look very good. I think before this tractor was parked, someone had either run the tractor low on oil I had this reground, and it cleaned up at 10 thousandths, both the rods and the mains, so that's good. The cylinder head, I haven't sent that to the machine shop yet. I got all new valves with the engine rebuild kit I got. So I'm going to send the head to the machine shop, have 6 new valve seats put in, and have it resurfaced. The intake seats are a little Don't look too bad, but they're a little wider than I like to see them. And the exhaust seats were all pitted with rust so much that I couldn't clean them up enough with my valve seat grinder. So I have that yet to do. Also, the gears on the front of the engine were pitted pretty badly, so I managed to pick up a bunch of good used gears. I picked up a good used camshaft that came with the 2 good gears that I needed anyway, so that was good. The only new gear I had to buy was this one here for the oil pump. I don't know how much it will show up on the video, but maybe you can get a little idea of what damage the rust had done to this. And I just couldn't bring myself to run something like that. I think being pitted like that, the gears would just chew themselves up without too much before a lot of time. So I have good gears that I need. These pistons and rings here. I do not have my connecting rods back. The connecting rods I've got at the machine shop right now, having reconditioned, having the small ends, or the big ends resized, new bushings installed in the small end and sized to the wrist pins. So they should come back pretty soon. So, and I don't have this on my engine stand down here because my engine stand I think this is too heavy for the engine stand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to assemble the short block here on blocks on the floor, then bring the cherry picker in, hang it on the tractor, then put the cylinder head on it. So what I am going to do right now, I'm going to put first of all, I will unwrap the crankshaft, check the oil passages in it to make sure that the oil passages are all clean. Usually the machinist takes care of that, but I always like to double check. I'm going to put the main bearings in the block and install the crankshaft dry and check it with plastic gauge to check the oil clearances, make sure everything is copacetic. And if that all works out, I'll install the crankshaft, the front plate on the engine, the camshaft, and all the front gears. I can get that all done today, and that'll be about what I can do until I get my connecting rods back. Okay, it turns out today was just a false start. Ran into a problem. As I said earlier, the crank was 10 thousandths undersized on the rods, 10 on the mains. And the main bearing set, you can see here, focus. Yep, the box is marked 10 thousandths under. The thrust bearings are 10 under, but the other 3 sets of mains are 20 thousandths under. So it turns out I'm not going to be doing anything today except calling my parts supplier. Well, first thing I will do is check all 3 rod bearings to make sure they're correct. But yep, turned out to be a false start. I guess I will have to move on to something else today. And well, at least you've had a bit of an update on the 2000 Ford project. Hopefully we can get back at this, get the right parts, and get what we need done maybe next week. Hopefully there'll be an update then. So until next time, everyone out there, have a good day.